Hey folks, this is Kelani. Welcome back to the Antorus raid guide for normal and heroic. This time we'll be taking down Kingaroth. This fight has two phases and you'll bounce back and forth between them. During phase 1 you'll only have to deal with the boss who has quite a few abilities. Your tanks will have to worry about Forging Strike, which deals a lot of damage to the current tank and anyone within 5 yards. Make sure your tank is alone when he takes this hit and you'll need a damage reduction cooldown. Our tank swapped every time Forging Strike was cast. Reverberating Strike will smash a random melee location, dealing quite a bit of damage and leaving behind a detonation charge. Every time Reverberating Strike lands, every single detonation charge will explode, dealing a lot of damage in a small radius. Just stay away from the glowy orange things and you'll be fine. The boss will also spawn some diabolic bombs. These purple orbs will rotate around the boss in a fixed pattern. If anyone touches them, they will blow up, dealing a lot of raid-wide damage, but the damage is reduced the further away you are. Your raid should be stacked loosely on one side of the boss, and the tank who isn't currently tanking should run into these bombs while they rotate to the other side of the boss, so everyone takes reduced damage. Kingaroth will periodically face a random direction and wind up his Ruiner ability. This fires a huge beam from one of his hands and he will begin to rotate slowly. This beam does a huge amount of damage, so whenever he starts casting it, look at where he's facing and make sure you move away. The last ability during this phase is Shattering Strike, which just deals raid-wide damage that needs to be healed up. Each time the boss reaches 100 energy, he will go into phase 2, where his Apocalypse Protocol shield reduces all damage he takes by 99%. The boss will be dealing raid-wide damage with his Flames of the Forge ability, so make sure your healers are on their toes. You'll also have a bunch of swirls on the floor to avoid, so your entire raid needs to stay on their toes. The 3 construction bays that are connected to the main platform will also become active. In normal you will have 2 adds start to spawn, and in heroic you will have 3 adds start to spawn. These adds will begin initializing, and after 30 seconds they will become active. During those 30 seconds they will take extra damage, so be sure to save some damage cooldowns. The extra damage is reduced every second, so they take the most damage right when they spawn, and they take no extra damage once they become active. We assigned our melee DPS to one bay and our ranged DPS to another, and we were usually able to kill both adds, or at least get them very close to dead before they become active. On heroic mode that left us with 1 add going back into phase 1, which we all focused down as quickly as possible. There are 3 types of adds that spawn: the GAROTH Annihilators, GAROTH Decimators, and GAROTH Demolishers. The Annihilators will use the same annihilation ability as the first boss. A few green circles will appear which need to be soaked by at least 1 player, otherwise they will deal raid-wide damage. The Decimators will use the same decimation ability as the first boss. A few players will be targeted by a debuff which put a huge red circle around them. They need to run out of the group with the debuff and let it explode, then they can return to the group. The Demolishers will use a new ability called Demolish, which gives a few players a large purple circle, which needs to be split and soaked, but you can't overlap these circles as they increase the shadow damage you take, so if someone gets hit by 2 Demolishers at the same time, they're likely going to die. We always killed the 2 closest adds to the entrance first, which usually left us with an Annihilator on heroic, which is really easy to deal with. Obviously on normal you're only going to have 2 bays active. As a good rule of thumb, you want to kill Demolishers first, which are the purple adds, then Decimators, which are the orange adds, and then Annihilators, which are the green adds. If you follow that priority, you shouldn't have too many troubles. If you find your raid can't kill 2 adds during the initialization, ensuring you can kill at least one of them should be fine. Whenever an add is killed, the boss will lose 6% of his max HP on normal and 4% on heroic, which really speeds up the encounter. After the adds have become active, all of the construction base will be set on fire and the doors will close, which will instantly kill anyone still inside. So, when the adds can move, you need to be out of the bays. You'll be back in phase 1 and will have to deal with all of the boss's usual abilities. You should probably expect to have 3 sets of adds before the encounter is over, and we saved our bloodlust for the 3rd set. Keep the adds in check and avoid that pesky Ruiner beam and you should be golden. So that's all you should need to take down Kingaroth on normal and heroic. Make sure to check out the other boss guides so you're prepared for anything Antorus can throw at you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.